What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to the DreamNation podcast. My name is Casanova. I'll be your host, and I'm excited to be bringing to you entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and trailblazers from around the world. Stay locked in with us because we're about to go on a journey that will change your life.
I think that we can add value to people in this conversation based off of kind of like what your mindset is about how to prepare. And now that if you are prepared, what are people should be looking at? And then the people that aren't prepared, how can we kind of help them with some ideas on how to kind of get through these next few months to year or two?
Yeah, so I would say for the people who are not prepared or who were not prepared, understand that there's a lot of aid, there's a lot of funding. First thing is, I would encourage anybody, being honest, we pay in a lot in taxes. And so what I would say is to really reach out to whoever your local experts are, like a banker, like your financial advisor. Ask those people, hey, what aid is available for me? And I would tell you to tap into all of that aid, because the reality of it is, and this maybe isn't said all the time, but here's what's going to happen. The government is going to get their money back. And who are they going to get their money back from? The people. From us. And if you don't have any businesses, if you don't have a lot of ownership, you won't even have those loopholes. So when the government raises rates back up and they're trying to recap on all of that to make our dollar stronger, unfortunately, it's going to be the people who are uneducated and who never tapped into the resources to at least be able to have some type of a savings or some type of a cushion to be able to get ahead. So that's what I would say. And understand that like a stimulus package or even unemployment, like this money didn't, while maybe we're giving out more than what we really have, it didn't just, appear out of thin air. It's why they charge you taxes, right? It's why, because they have these types of funds. So people saying, oh, I'm not going to tap into it. You basically just gave away that money, in my opinion, because you tap back into it, because your obligation at the end of the day for anybody is to make sure that you put your family ahead for years to come. So again, if we look at the biggest business owners or the most wealthiest people, at least the people who are touted to be the most wealthy, they did so by one, acquiring real estate, but also just acquiring assets. And they did it by figuring out what were the legal loopholes that are already set up, right? That's really what it is when we talk about capital gains and deferring it, when we talk about the way that you structure your entity or your business. Do you have LLC or do you not? All of those things are legal loopholes, right? And if the government really hated it, that they would go in and they would put something in writing that says you can no longer do that. But they don't, because they understand that, again, it's a capitalist world and there's got to be loopholes for everybody. And you can't go changing everything. So if you're not prepared right now, again, the number one step that I'm doing is I'm reaching out. If I'm you, and I'm reaching out to bankers, I'm reaching out to business owners, I'm reaching out to other entrepreneurs who do not look like they're struggling right now, and I'm trying to have a conversation with them. Right now, they could still be struggling. But if you know somebody that's a family friend, or if you know somebody that you've admired for a long time, just reach out and say, hey, you know what, this last 3 to 5 years, I haven't really been putting myself and my family in a position that needs to. And I know right now there's a lot of opportunity to reset situations. Do you have a banker, or do you know of any programs that I should maybe be looking into that I could get any type of assistance or any type of knowledge from? So that's what I would say for anybody who's unprepared. For the people who are prepared, I think you already tapped into it. It's to really understand that for the most part, we were buying a lot of real estate and even stocks over the last 5 years because they're on the up and up and up. Well, we both can probably agree that you don't make your money when you sell at the end of the day. You make your money when you buy. That's when you make your money. So right now, if you could buy something that, again, just as you said, is somewhere between 30% to 85% discounted, why would you not do that? So you have to be looking at it. Yeah, so you got to be looking at it. And you also got to look at, and I'm not a stock expert. I don't claim to be, and never ever have. But you also got to be looking at what are the things that you believe is tried and true and will withstand the test of times. Like the airlines. We know that people have to travel, right? Once this is all said and done, people will get back into travel. Right? Maybe it's 2 years, 3 years, but the reality of it is whether we want to go to a vacation spot with our families, whether we want to, whatever it is, we need to get from place to place and we're not on state lockdown, we will need to travel. Not everybody's going to take cars because, that could be days upon end driving. So understand that the airlines, they will come back. Understand as well that there will be lots of logistics companies and agriculture companies because people will still need to eat. I think we're watching the news, Julie and I, earlier this week, and they were talking, they had a farmer on there, and I think he said he had to basically kill about 5 million like crops.
Yeah, 70% is what I heard.
Yeah, which is absolutely crazy. So be thinking about those things as well of like, can you invest into any type of agriculture? Can you invest into the airlines? Can you invest into something that you know that's not, I'm not talking about tech and trend, right? Because I even just saw everybody's like, I can get Apple. But the reality of it is most people will not have the money to go now out and purchase an $1,100 iPhone.
Yeah.
They just won't. And for some people who have multiple phones, maybe they'll start selling on discounts and things like that. Like even these stores, people aren't all day lining up inside of Verizon and all that, but they still have all of this inventory. So they need to sell this inventory. So don't put that into the stock of a tech. In just my opinion, put it into something that, again, will withstand the test of time. So that's what I would say. But you have to invest because I believe that no one was made wealthy in any time through saving. So you have to figure out a way. Now, I'm not telling you to put all of your money if you can't pay your bills. But what I'm saying is make sure that you have the right type of budget. And after all of your essentials is paid, if you have another $300 to $500, now is the best time because there's going to be programs and scenarios out there, at least for the next couple of years, to where you could say, I need more income coming in, and the government probably won't fight you as hard for you to find this funding because they understand what we've just been through over the last year and a half. It's kind of been a long-term play, just as you said. Like I've said it and forget it. I remember in the beginning though, I put an additional like 1K in there because it was going like up and up and up. And then all of a sudden it shot down and I was like, no, but I was about to put like 5K additionally in Bitcoin because it was like that time where it like shot all the way up to like 17,000.
I remember.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, like this is my time. I gotta, and then I was like, but for whatever reason, just because like you said, it was an unknown. So what are the things that you already know? And so for me, I didn't have a lot of security. I'm okay with doing some gambling, but I think that it's always gotta be a calculated risk. And if my wife would have been like, what happened to my 5K? And then I'm like, well, baby, I read this like one article and she's like, yo, explain to me what, and if I couldn't explain it, like explaining it to my 8-year-old,
yep.
That means that I don't really know enough about it. And so that was what held me off. And so I still have it in there. It's kind of set it and forget it. But I think that that's the value of always investing into something, right? You got to be able to put that money in there, but be prepared to lose it. And if it loses, you're okay. You could still live your lifestyle without feeling like you got to jump off of a cliff.
That's all we got for this episode. Thank you for sticking around. That truly means a lot to me, and hopefully that means that we delivered massive value on this one. If you haven't already, the way that you could say thank you to myself and the team is just by heading over to iTunes and leaving a review and a rating. That's what iTunes loves to see. That's how we get out there even more, and I would definitely be grateful for it. I know the team would as well. Do me a favor and head on over to DreamNationPodcast.com. That's where you're going to be able to find all of the resources that we talked about in today's episode, as well as more exclusive content. And you'll also be able to sign up to our email list where we have more exclusive content. And we always love to hear the feedback from you all because you're our tribe. So remember, in the dream we trust, we'll see you on the flip side.